Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Today we're going to take a look at Bitcoin ordinals. What are they? How do they work? How do you store them? What makes them special? And also we're going to give a quick Bitcoin update based off of what's happened in the last 24 hours. We're kind of sitting on a very iffy spot right now on the chart, so we'll take a look at that. If you're new here, please leave me a subscribe, a comment below, and like the video. All right, so Bitcoin ordinals. First, there are a few things that most people already know, but in case you don't, they need to be explained to you before we go into the topic of ordinals. First of all, the smallest unit of a Bitcoin is called a satoshi, and every Bitcoin has 100 million satoshis. That being said, if we just do some math here, there's a maximum quantity of 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be produced, and the last one, I believe, is in the year 2144, in that area. Don't quote me, maybe 2140. Anyway, there's 100 million satoshis, and there are 21 million Bitcoin. So there is a total possibility of million, billion, trillion, 2 quadrillion, 100 trillion satoshis. That being said, Bitcoin ordinals are a new form of NFT that makes the trackability and the traceability, I should say, of every satoshi a little bit better, and also adds sort of an NFT to it, kind of like you would see from an Ethereum CryptoPunk or any other popular NFT series that you might be aware of, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example. The second most important thing to note about this, prior to talking about ordinals, is how other NFTs are stored. For example, the majority of NFTs, I would say, are on like Ethereum and Solana, maybe a few on Cardano, but we're just going to use Ethereum. These NFTs are stored digitally via a file system called the Interplanetary File System that is not directly inscribed on Ethereum. It takes separate technology to keep NFTs available and traceable and on the blockchain. It's not just, hey, I have an Ethereum NFT, it's on Ethereum and we're good to go. It actually requires tertiary software and engineering to continue storing and developing those NFTs. So instead of thinking as a Bitcoin NFT as an NFT, you could think of it as a digital inscription onto a satoshi. If you consider a satoshi to just be like a penny or a coin or whatever, that NFT art is being inscribed permanently on that satoshi, and that makes it a little bit unique as far as an NFT or an inscription is concerned versus traditional NFTs. There are several collections so far of these NFTs or inscriptions. Most notably, obviously, would be CryptoPunks, which they've made a collection called Ordinal Punks. It was a set of 100 Bitcoin NFTs that were printed within the first 650 inscriptions on Satoshis. And the highest numbered inscription in the collection takes up spot number 642 as far as the first 650 that were inscribed. You can see they do significantly resemble CryptoPunks in their pixelated makeup. I wouldn't say they're exactly the same because these seem to be a little bit more diverse than CryptoPunks, not by much. But you can see this one looks like a vampire, this one has a crown, this one has a cigarette. Just interesting amalgamation of characters here. As a matter of fact, we'll just scroll through the ordinal punks here and kind of see what we have. This one has a rainbow hat. A little bow tie here. We have a something blowing bubble gum. Got a sombrero on this one. 3D glasses and a cigarette here. Just all over the place. 3D glasses, heart glasses. Looks like several have cob pipes. This one's a skeleton with a cigarette, which oddly enough is pretty indicative of what would happen with repeated cigarette use. What else do we have here? Just a alien green face. Looks like a knight or something. And this one has its COVID mask. Can we say COVID on you? Well, I'm not monetized, so I can say COVID. But yeah, good stuff. There are several other collections, but in order to keep the video brief, I'm just going to highlight. This is wizord.io, wizord.io. This is a website here that kind of gives the floor price for all of the collections that have been done so far. Like, Horde of the Undead. There's only 6 total NFTs, and apparently the floor is 1,000 Bitcoin. So if you want one of these, you're going to have to fork over $27,655,521.85. I'm not sure about that, but let's look at a collection that might have a little bit more to it. Mad Monkeys here, there's 100. Looks like each one is around 2.7 million or 100 Bitcoin. 175 total supply. I think I said 100 supply earlier. That's 100 Bitcoin floor, 175 supply. Here's another 100 supply here. Bitcoin Rocks, which I'm sure is just a beautiful NFT. Sitting at a floor of $284,000. In case you wanted to pay that for a picture of a rock, there you go. Again, the technology is really cool, but I'm not sure about some of the choices here. Thankfully, there's 4 quadrillion or whatever it was we had earlier, so that it's there's plenty of satoshis to go around. Ordinal, here you go. Ordinal punks. The floor price right now is $66,000 or 2.4 Bitcoin. 12-fold, 300 supply, floor price of 1.85 Bitcoin, $51,433. So you could go to wizard.io and just kind of see a database of everything that's been done so far. If you're interested in seeing more of these, here's a DGods. Let's click on DGods here. Just pull one of these bad boys up. There's a DGod for you. 0.8976 Bitcoin for this one. So that is a wizard.io is a great place to go if you just want to browse and see what's out there. So we know how to find the ordinals. Next question is how do we store them? Well, luckily, there are 3 Bitcoin ordinals supported functionality wallets. There's Ordinals wallet, which how creative is that? There's Xverse and there's Hyro wallet. I don't know a whole lot about those. Maybe I'll do a separate video on those later, but just for clarity's sake, there are 3 wallets where you can contain your Bitcoin ordinals if you're interested in purchasing one. More information you can find here in this NFT Now article. What's it called? Let's get you the name of the article. Bitcoin NFTs, Ordinal Inscriptions Explained. So if you want more information on that, here you go. All right, so we'll go ahead and provide a quick update on Bitcoin since some things have happened in the last 24 hours. First of all, one thing that I haven't made mention of, even though I have been talking particularly a lot about the Gaussian channel here on the weekly chart, I've been watching that for a break of the EMA9. The EMA9 is currently sitting at 27,548. So we are currently at 27,700. We've been as low as 27,421 today, but we did wick above past the EMA9. Again, I'm looking for a daily closing basis on that EMA9 to determine what I'm going to do next. That to me is kind of the entrance level into some lower prices. But looking at the daily chart here, one thing I have not pointed out to date that I probably should for my viewing audience is this head and shoulders that we have here. There's the shoulder there. Oop. Shoulder there, head there, shoulder there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll zoom in. At that purple head and shoulders pattern here, that is typically, it's not 100% chance of breaking to the downside, but generally when it does break to the downside, it has a big target. You would have like this neckline here, whether you draw it at an angle or whether you just draw the neckline like something like this. And then you would take another line from the top to the neckline and then grab that line. And if we broke through, you can see targets would be right down here at 23K, which oddly enough, I believe lines up with the Fibonacci level. We'll go ahead and run a fib real quick just to make sure. We have a fib here. The 0.5 is at 23,255, and then the golden pocket sits down here between 20.9 and 21.4. Those are the 2 levels that I mentioned in a video yesterday or the day before, I can't remember which, that I don't think Bitcoin's going to break below again for a long time, if ever. That 20.9 to 21 area, maybe as low as 20K on a wick basis. But that area right there, I just don't think Bitcoin's going to get below that again. I really don't. There's too much support there. There's way too much volume there. We can even, let me get rid of that head and shoulders drawing that I did there. We can even pull up an FRVP and run that from, let's say, we'll just run it all the way back here and see what we get. Yeah, we have a huge area of volume here at 20.3, which on a wick basis, we might get below the golden pocket and come down here to 20.3. Again, this is on if we break down. I'm still bullish until the EMA 9 is broken, but I do want to give downside targets in a worst case scenario. I think we'd probably have a stop somewhere around 25.2 to 25.3 right here at this point of resistance, and also at the bottom of this green box that I've drawn that I believe is a good location for a bounce, which at the top of that's 26.6. At the bottom of that's 25.3. I do have an order sitting at 25.3 in case we go down there. Oddly enough, that is also where the top of the bull market support band is right now. The bottom of the bull market support band is also a target at 24.2. So I know this sounds like, hey, it could go anywhere from 20 to 26. Well, that's really the case because this is a period of economic uncertainty right now. So again, we're going to take this one day at a time. I'm going to go to my complicated chart here. And we're just watching the EMA 9 sitting at 27,576 right now. I've got my little marker here. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. This is my little trend line for the EMA 9 because it's not fully extended. It looks like actually here it's right there now. So I'm just kind of moving that. Let's look at the Lucid SAR too, just for a little extra TA here. On the weekly chart, the Lucid SAR is sitting at 27. If you were looking, like I said, EMA 9 is my point. If you were looking for a little lower point to turn bearish, it would probably be this Lucid SAR dot here at 27K. There's a lot of people between 27 and 27.2 where if they break below that, then they're going bearish. So definitely watch that 27K level. For me, I'm watching that 27.5 at the EMA 9. Just because that's not what I always do, but because that's what's happened in previous cycles, and right now I'm kind of treating this like the 2015 bear market rally. Here on a shorter term time frame, on the 1-hour chart, we did have some bullish divergence right here, which was May 8th at around 2 o'clock Eastern time. Not sure what that's going to turn into, but as you can see, we had a price drop here with a higher RSI, which would be in this range here. There's a bullish set of bullish divergence there. Of course, we've already gone back up to the middle of the RSI channel, so who knows what that's going to lead to. There is also, I noticed earlier, some hidden bullish divergence on the stochastic. This is a lower low, this is a higher low, but we have a downwards movement on the stochastic. So there is hidden bullish divergence on the 1-hour stochastic. That's really not much to call home about, but hey, it's something, right? Let's hope that this thing turns around with CPI and PPI data tomorrow. If not, look for those targets down, like I said, mid 26 to 25K. Big range, I know. Let's zoom out on the dollar too. Let's go to the weekly chart. We were at 89.7 back in 2021 during the bull run. That is significantly much further down than we are right now. That's an 11% drop on the dollar, which is that's a huge drop. So kind of waiting to see what happens with the dollar. It is still relatively high though. I mean, there's definitely some room for some downside, especially depending on what the CPI and PPI data comes up with tomorrow. We'll have to watch that and see what happens. That should be released early in the morning, I believe. I want to say it's 8:30 Eastern time. I'll have to check that. You might search for it and keep an eye out for it. Bitcoin dominance sitting here at 48.21%. Kind of waiting to see what happens here. The 49 level is where we would really see a really nasty move on altcoins. If we pop up past 49 and start moving up toward like the 55% mark, that would be really, really nasty for altcoins. I would highly recommend that at a break of 49, you start getting out of altcoins and taking a loss on them. Not financial advice. That's just what I think I would do. And then wait to see what happens from there. Maybe play Bitcoin until the halving, right? Usually right before the halving or right after the halving, there's a big drop in the market. Maybe capitalize on picking up altcoins there because that's most likely going to be the last bottom that we see before the next parabolic move up for the after halving price movement. And just one more thing to show today. I know this is kind of split screen's not optimal. I ran a Fibonacci on the total 3 chart from the previous low to the previous high. The 786 sits here around $265 billion. Right now we're at 353. If we did have a pullback, I would expect the pullback to go to the 786. Roughly a 24% drop from here. That would probably where we would see the bottom for this cycle. Not guaranteed, but if we did see a move down, I would kind of be watching that level here at 265 billion to see what happens at that point if we do make another move down. So hopefully you enjoyed the content on a very beginning look at Bitcoin ordinals and what we have going on in the market today. If you value the content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment below. Let me know what your favorite altcoin is, or let me know what you liked about everything today. And we will see you in the next video. Safe trading.